My name is Michael Hudson. I'm the CEO and founder of Bitstocks. We established way back in April 2014, predominantly as an investment house to help educate investors as to what Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are really all about, demystify the space, and really address at the most core, primitive level as to what this technology really is. The other side of the business, we have an OTC desk, and these have been the two models at Bitstocks for at least the last 4 years. We've spent the last 4 years at Bitstocks building our family. For this reason, we have never accepted any external influence or investment. There have been times where we really needed it, but it was important for us as a business that we establish and we build and we widen our own perspective without any pressure from any other individuals. Because the challenge that every single individual has at Bitstocks, and the thing that we all challenge each other to actually do, is remove all distortions. Focus on just the essence. The truth will present itself in the essence. And this is the core message of everything it is that we're building at Bitstocks. And I think it's really important, before I get onto what our next stage of Bitstocks actually is, the ecosystem that we are now going to be revealing and launching today, I want to welcome the room and welcome those who are actually watching this stream as to what we deem the modern human condition. This really is an introduction to the Bitstocks perspective. So at the most primitive level, what does it mean to be human in 2018? We have two mechanisms of communication: the spoken word and money. What is the spoken word? It's predominantly knowledge. This is how we share our information. We document it, we write it, we record it, we video it, and then we distribute the mechanism of knowledge. There are two variants of knowledge. You have outer knowledge and you have inner knowledge. Outer knowledge is the encapsulation of information from other beings into one being. This is regulated by time. You have 80 years in order to perform this function. Once you've consulted enough outer information and you've internalized that information, you consult your own discernment. This is what inner knowledge is. An example of inner knowledge would be your cosmic self, your cosmic code, your DNA. A child can very easily forget the face of a grandparent. Your cosmic self, your cosmic memory, will put your grandfather's big nose on your face. This is just a silly example of what inner knowledge actually really is. So the second mechanism as to what it means to be human in the modern world is money. What is money? This is a measurement of value. What is value? How do we determine value? Well, it's based on time. Our labor markets, factored by skill. The more skillful someone is, the less time it takes to perform the laborsome task. Skill condenses time. Ultimately, at its core essence, all money really is time. The more it is that you have, the more time you have. How you then spend that time will determine if you find your fulfillment or not. So what are the distortions, what are the issues and the problems in the modern human condition today with these two mechanisms of communication? Well, they're both heavily distorted. The spoken word knowledge, there are 6,500 different variants today of the spoken word on this planet. You can discount about 2,000 of those as they're spoken by less than 1,000 people. So you have circa 4,500 different variants, different frequencies, different mechanisms of communication. This creates little clusters, little pockets of information and knowledge around the world. In a pre-internet world, this was devastating. Because if you don't have sight, if you don't have true understanding as to what somebody else says, what are you doing in order to achieve and get that sight? You're outsourcing your vision. Who are you outsourcing your vision to? Educational systems, media. To tell you what you might have seen if you had the gift of seeing. So here you can see with the spoken word, these are some of the more dominant of the 6,500 frequencies. You've got the English spoken word, you've got, of the 7.5 billion people on the planet, circa 1.3 to 1.4 speak Chinese Mandarin. And also you have Spanish and Portuguese, very dominant frequencies. On the right-hand side with money, a very similar issue. There are 180 different variants of government money today, 180 different localized ways of measuring time. measuring your value, how you price your goods and services. This is a problem. This is a big problem, because this is why it is so easy, if you have these different forms of localization of how we establish and measure each other's value, it's too easy to skew it. Because if you have the ability to print and issue money, then you're inflating the pre-existing money supply. New money gets its value from the pre-existing money supply. This diminishes your rate on time without you even realizing this is the cause that we call inflation. So here you have the examples in terms of money of the currently standing fiat systems: US dollar, euro, and the Chinese yuan. So these are some of the more dominant of the 180 different variants. But what most don't realize is that there's been 4,000 different examples of government money, average lifespan 27 years. I would argue these are not designed to be successful. These are deliberately designed to fail. So why do they design them this way? What is the bottleneck of these two mechanisms of communication? Knowledge, very simple. You're regulated by time. Plain as simple as that. You've got 80 years, circa average human lifespan, in order to encapsulate enough information for other human beings into one being. Money is a little bit more complicated. You still have the issue of time, but then you have the problem of access. So access is because the traditional fiat banking system is run on concentric circles. The outer perimeter has less access. This is you looking at your own ledger. You don't have the ability or sight of other people's ledgers. That's not an issue, but you should have a financial interest in the company or the banking institution that you are holding your capital with. Maybe you like to know what their ledger is. But you can't see that directly. You have to outsource your vision, your sight to who? Accountants, auditing agencies, for them to tell you what, again, you would have seen if you had the ability to see. This, actually, concentric model systems has a bit of a bad rap. That is not the problem of banking. Concentric models are natural. Every human being in this room, every human being around the planet runs a concentric model system. We do it even with our own friend circles. You have the outer ring that knows everything it is about you, because that information is not too sensitive. You have an inner ring. These people might know your relationship woes and triumphs. And then it gets a little bit closer. They might know some of your family issues. And then you have the center point right at the top, which is your family itself. They know everything. We all run concentric circle models. The problem is sight. It is not concentric. Centralization, decentralization is massively misunderstood. The problem is sight. So what is the gift of sight? This really is the core of what Bitcoin provides the world. Because in a traditional fiat banking system today, this is how the global pyramid of power looks. What is the global pyramid of power? This is how the world is run. At the very top, you have the powerful families, ultimately the divine right to rule. Below that, you have the banking system. Below that, you have world resource control, commodities, oil, etc. Below that, you have world media control, the distribution mechanisms, religion, mainstream media, which, by the way, 90% of Western mainstream media is owned by 5 corporations. Very easy to control the narrative. The problem with this system here is that the ledger's opaque. You can't really see sight throughout the chain at the credits and the debits. Therefore, we have absolutely no way of self-validating and self-verifying the polarity of the individuals who run this system. Are they of a malevolent or benevolent incentive? Do they have a malevolent or benevolent agenda? Is it positive or is it negative? Again, how do we get answers to these questions? We have to outsource our own sight to who? Auditing agencies, government agencies, to tell us, again, what we would have seen if we had the ability to see. This is what Bitcoin fixed for the world. It provided a truly transparent ledger. You have complete sight. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't preserve your privacy as a business, because there's anti-competition mechanisms as well. You need certain privacy as a business to make sure people can't see who your suppliers are, et cetera, et cetera. But if you're running public funds, if you're a government agency, sight is important. You have no excuse now to not provide sight. The whole world built on top of Bitcoin technology ultimately means that everyone on the planet can assess the polarity of the energy coming out the top of this pyramid. Is it of a malevolent or benevolent agenda? This doesn't mean benevolent individuals are all that exist. Malevolent individuals will still exist. The difference is, it's not a question of governments are bad, banking is bad, companies are bad. This is a very limited perspective. Government, banks, companies are just human beings under different banners. They're collectives of human beings under different banners. You have good, you have bad, you have good, you have bad, you have good, you have bad. This allows us that if anyone claimed dominion over the network, we call this a 51% attack, which allows you the ability to not just write forward, it always allows you the ability to write backward. That means that you're leaving records, immutable evidence, proof of the agenda of your polarity, which then tasks the rest of the community to purge that entity from the space, and then we continue, we proceed, and we move forward. This takes me on to a point which may be a bit controversial, but it's something that needs to be heard to the wider cryptocurrency community. There is a very, very dangerous and adolescent undertone to the cryptocurrency community right now, and this is focused around privacy-centric coins. People tout and boast and promote crypto-anarchism. I'm a crypto-anarchist. I hate government. I'm anti-banks. I assure you, any responsible adult, especially if you had children, would not want their child growing up in an anarchist world. It's as simple as that. If the whole world ran on Monero, because we are all touting Monero is the way forward, this is what the world looks like. Not only do you have no sight, you've actually addressed one of the biggest issues with fiat banking is you've taken away all the friction. That means you will never have any idea as to what the agenda of the polarities of the people that run the system. This is true anarchy. And this is adolescence. And this is the point that we are actually making in a sense that crypto needs to grow up. It's a very limited view. So how do we ultimately condense time? This is pretty much the formula. Technological advancements divided by lifetime essentially equals the rate of freedom on this planet. So what are the tools of humanity that enable us to do this? What are the ring systems of sovereignty that enable us to do this? The internet is the first domino that fell. The internet allowed us to distribute knowledge, the spoken word, the way that we document who we actually are as human beings. Technology allowed us to translate this information on the fly. We no longer are a cluster of individuals all around the planet. We are a global conscious collective. The more density we build within the internet itself, the more interconnected we actually will become. How do we interconnect with the internet? We started off with personal computers. Where did you use your personal computer? Home, office, school. Personal computer became the laptop, in between home and office, in between work and school. The laptop then became the iPhone. Now you've got the whole hive mind of the world in your back pocket. It's not unreasonable to assume your iPhone will shrink down to a chip. This is potentially something that could actually happen. There may be some ethical issues around this that we as a collective need to discuss, but this is technologically possible, which then means your sight is your eye and your consciousness will upload your photos to Instagram if you so wished. This is density. This is how you connect everything and ultimately becomes nothing because we are all one and the same. Bitcoin completes this ring system of sovereignty. Bitcoin does this for money. Bitcoin is the internet of how we establish and share and communicate value in one world currency. And that's a good statement. Every reference to a one world currency has been plagued with Illuminati conspiracy theories, right? And how it's a bad, bad, bad thing. And it is. Why is it a bad thing? Because you have no sight. Having one means, one mechanism to measure our time and our value with sight frees the planet. Interlinking these two ring systems of sovereignty are the necessary prerequisites that allow humanity to stand on their own 2 feet and build. This is what Bitcoin provides. This is what decentralization really actually is on Bitcoin. It's free, equal access. It's not a socialist distribution of funds. At Bitstocks, our perspective, we understand this. The model is that we are building at Bitstocks harmonizes these two ring systems of sovereignty. We are calling this system gravity. This is the next stage of the Bitstocks ecosystem. This is what we're doing at Bitstocks. The challenge is, without it, you can neither sit nor stand. Yet it cannot be seen. It is everything, yet nothing. At Bitstocks, this is the challenge that I hit on my team. How do you create a holistic approach to providing banking-like services on Bitcoin that is delivered so seamlessly, so integrated, that you don't even notice that it's there? How do you deliver everything with it feeling like it's nothing? So this is our model. Here you have an outer triangle, ultimately what establishes the ecosystem of Bitstocks. So you have our essentially equity holders, our client base, and our affiliates. Our affiliate program was actually inspired by the Bitcoin network model. That, to me, is, again, one of the other true genius things as to what Bitcoin actually is. You actually piece together some economic incentives that gives you a highly probabilistic human social outcome. Economic incentives work. No one wants to set fire to their own wallet. It works. So we really studied that, and we looked at it, again, at the most primitive level. The inner sections are the jurisdictions that we're going to focus on first. Asia, UK, and Europe, depending on how Theresa May goes. And then at the top, we have Africa. That's going to be a massive, massive, massive focus for us. There will be other jurisdictions, but these are going to be the ones that we focus on the most first. The inner sections are the service offerings. Everything is going to be geared around. Investment banking-esque services, retail banking-like services, merchant banking-like services, all interconnected into our intelligence engine, Gravity. Everything in the Bitstocks model is designed to build density, to be connected, to be interconnected, to create all the spokes and keep on adding spokes until everything is contained. These are some of the models. So this is a snapshot view of the holistic ecosystem it is that we are building. And I'm very proud to actually announce today for the first time ever that what we'll be building is the first Bitcoin SV exclusive current accounts. So this will allow you to have personal, joint, and business current accounts linked with a debit card. We've been doing custody, safe custody, since 2014 at Bitstocks. We'll now be building on that and extending it out to institutional and private investors. Our market advisory service has been running successfully since early 2015 and will continue to be a very aggressive, now Bitcoin SV managed portfolios. We're going to be doing loans, allowing you to release fiat liquidity using your coins as collateral. We'll be providing merchant banking services. So this will allow you to create inventory. This will allow you to ultimately interlink your merchant account straight away with your business current account. So your inventory and the codes it is that you create and the products it is that you're going to sell straight away will be credited to your current account. And you have complete archive as to everything that actually has happened. Our investment accounts actually will allow you to invest and hold other crypto assets. You will not be able to spend these crypto assets via your current account directly, but what you can do is if you own, say, £1,000 of Ethereum, you can utilize Switch and send £1,000 worth of Ethereum to your current account, which is linked to your debit card, and that will just convert it into Bitcoin SV and allow you to purchase something at a store. OTC pretty much does what it says on the tin. Our fixed income is essentially our collateralized debt coupons, essentially built and based off our loan book. This product will actually be for institutional investors only. And the last component that is actually semi-segmented away from the rest of the ecosystems is our Bitstocks Capital Fund. This will be a Bitcoin SV exclusive growth vehicle, a traditional 220 fund. And what I'd like to do next is now play a video that will show some of the animations of our design language here at Bitstocks.
Without it, you can neither stand or sit, yet it cannot be seen. It is everything, yet nothing. Introducing Gravity. Easily move your money between different pairs or into and out of cryptocurrency as you wish, without the need to buy or sell orders. From the dashboard, select an account. Here we see an overview of the total GBP balance and all assets held. Swipe the balance to move to a different account. Select an asset. Click for detailed balances. Activate Switch. Use the drop-downs to select which crypto you'd like to switch to and for what amount. Click on Switch and you're done. Your new balance is reflected in your account. Introducing loans. No need to sell your crypto if you want to access and deploy fiat. Bitstocks Loans allows you to use your cryptocurrency holdings as collateral for a fiat loan, with a predetermined settlement period and interest rate. Choose an asset and select for options. Click on Loan and tailor to your preferences. Use the slider to pick a preferred payback period. Review your loan, accept terms and conditions, and you're good to apply. Within seconds, you have equity released and fiat in your current loan. The Bitstocks platform gives anyone the ability to set up a standing order in just a few clicks. Sending payments to nearby Bitstocks users is as easy as selecting the Find Nearby Friends option, tapping on their photo, inputting the amount you wish to pay and date, and you're done. Grow your crypto wealth by earning incentive payments for users you refer to Bitstocks. Becoming an affiliate has never been easier, with rewards deposited in real time and showing up in your current account just like any other payment. As simple as that. Our dedicated media center embedded within the platform provides an up-to-date stream of all Bitstocks educational and informative content, including our podcasts, videos, vlogs, blog posts, and ebooks. We've created the most user-friendly application whereby anyone and everyone can spend, store, and trade their cryptocurrency in a safe and trusted ecosystem. Pre-register for your interest today.
So I want to use CoinGeek London, our home turf, as our official announcement that for the first time ever in our 4-year history, now that we have now established and grown and built our family at Bitstocks, we've built our foundations. We've now decided it's time to welcome select investors who share a very similar perspective to us here at Bitstocks to assist us in building our house on top of these foundations. So I'd like to announce that Bitstocks will be doing an equity raise built on top of Bitcoin SV. This is not an ICO. This is a proper equity offering built on top of Bitcoin SV to deliver value back to our investors. Now, in order to actually register for details and information about our equity offering, please visit the bitstocks.com investor relations website and the email investorrelations@bitstocks.com. You have to register your details, and we would then send out the prospectus to individuals that we've actually vetted and validated, and we're actually going to send the prospectus out to. If you'd like to register and join the queue as a potential client for the Bitstocks ecosystem and Gravity, please refer to the link on the right-hand side and pre-register there. If you'd just like to keep in touch with us in general, please visit our Bitstocks YouTube TV channel, so Bitstocks TV, where we've got a plethora of different podcasts, and we're going to be very aggressive in building that. So we've got podcasts with the like of Dr. Craig Wright, also recently this week with the like of Calvin Ayre, and we're going to continue to keep on bringing high-profile guests within the cryptocurrency space who really do have a very accurate perception and perspective as to what this space really is all about. It's very important for us at Bitstocks that we maintain and we control our own narrative, because we don't want to get caught up in a lot of the distortions that are out there. We want to help and do our role and insist in bathing the world in light. This is the Bitstocks mantra. This is the Bitstocks way, and we welcome everyone to join us in that mission. Thank you.